Hello all, welcome to another edition of Cooper's Commentaries. This time we're up to episode 5. This is all about stability changes and how it affects you, how you should maybe alter how you play, or how the meta seems to be shifting. Okay, so first things first, what is the stability change? Instead of duration, stability now stacks in instances of stacks. So if you imagine it like might stacks, that's how stability works. So each CC will drop one stack of stability. So if you imagine it like a defiant stacks on bosses, every time you CC someone with a stability stack, you take away one stability stack and they go down, similar to how might drops off. Okay, so what does this mean for World v World and guild groups and guild v guild and things like that? There's around two ways of playing. You've either got the go over the top with stability, or you counter stability completely. So they're the two kind of roles that you can choose between. You can either overcommit to stability, which involves going for high stability stacks, which could involve, I don't know, something like triple guardian parties, something like that, or high stability generating skills. Or you've got the other hand, which is counter stability, which comes into how you use your CC and stability stripping, boon stripping, things like that, which seems to be for the main part how most people are playing now. They're going heavy counter stability rather than going the other route of going over the top with stability generation. Okay, so moving on from that, how you want to kind of set up your parties. I've tried going the super stability route and it just doesn't work. The main reason for that is the very high popularity of necromancers using corrupt boon. So the super stability method doesn't seem to work, and the best method, like everyone else seems to be doing, is going for the heavy counter to the stability stacks. You want to try and strip all those stacks down to 0 on the melee train. Okay, so just to begin things off, I would recommend running 4-man melee parties just for that 5th slot to be open for things like regroups. So if you've got any low casters, any Necro Ellie or Focus Party member who is low, they can run to the melee ball for that extra heal or extra empower heal, or might stacks, or maybe extra stability inside your melee ball. So you've got that the Guardian shout overflows to other melee members. So when one Guardian uses a shout, they can get 10 stacks of stability in their party rather than just the 5. Because they've got their own Guardian in their party giving them 5, and they've got the overflow Guardian from a different party giving them the extra 5, so making it 10. Because you are running 4-man melee parties, I would take the Necromancer out of the melee parties. There is, in my opinion, no need for a Necromancer to be in that melee party anymore, and I'll go over that later on in the video. Okay, there's two ways of playing the melee. There's the old style, which is the hammer of the anvil. You push forward, you leap to the enemy group, and you hit them. That's the old way of playing melee. You can still do that. It's less effective because of stability stripping and things like that. So the other way of playing, which is a rather new way of playing, is to go for the caretaker role, which feeds into the pirate ship strategy. So the caretaker role for the melee ball is protect the caster ball, protect your casters, and finish any down that your casters kill or that your melee kill. So they're the two ways of playing with the melee. You either, if you've got a stronger group than the enemy group, then go for that old style. Continue to play that old style of just pushing to them with your melee ball, leaping onto them, and hit them. The other style is if they can strip you faster than you can reach them, then to the point where you cannot push to them and you have to adopt this pirate ship strategy. Then you go for the caretaker role of protect my caster ball so they can do their job, and finish any down players. So when your casters get a down player from the single target focus that they're doing, you can then push to that down player as a melee ball to finish them off with cleave damage and auto attack damage or stomps or whatever you want to do. So they're the two ways of playing with the melee ball nowadays: is old style push to them, secondary caretaker style of protect my caster ball. Okay, so if we go over the CC usage, if you see here, I'll go over the first things first, which is what's called box CC. What you want to do nowadays is save up your CC. Don't be dropping random lines and walls and statics, things like that. You want to try and save it all up together and use it all in one go to try and strip that stability when you want on command. So you want to think of a call to call the stability strip. So you can do that in your own guild or in your own group, however you want to say, to strip the stability, which means drop your CC. Okay, so if you see in the first clip, we'll go over box CC, which in its essence is you encircle the enemy group when they're empowering. It works best on a static group. Is you encircle the enemy in a ring of CC. That can be a hammer ring from a guardian, a judge hammer ring to try and trap them in. It can be statics from elementalists, or it can be lines of warden which are arranged in your group. If you assign people to certain positions of the line, you can get boxes off like that. So I'll quickly show you the video there. So as you can see, this is just in PvP right now. We're just showing you right now how it works. So you can see the 4 lines of warden encircle and trap them inside. The way to do the reason for this is to proc stability. As you can see in the second video, we drop the 4 lines and then we drop damage inside the box, which is called spiking inside the box. So you create the box, you encircle them with CC, and then you drop a low cooldown spike inside the box, which has 2 things. The enemy then has a choice. They either sit inside the box, inside the CC, and wait for the CC to clear to then move, in which they take all that damage that you drop inside the box. They take all those symbols, lava fonts, things like that. They take all that damage if they decide not to move. If they decide to get out of the box, they have to pop stability to get out. So it's, in essence, it's a form of, it forces the enemy group to pop stability. If they don't pop stability, they're going to take a hell of a lot of damage, which gives you the upper hand. Either way, your group has the upper hand because you forced them to drop in a stability, or they've taken heavy damage. Either way, you should win the fight because you can just wait out until the stability drops off. If they've chosen to move out the box, they've popped stability to get out, in which case you just wait out, just wait 5 seconds for the stability to drop, and then you do your push. And if they take the damage, well, they're at half health, so then you can just follow up on the regroup and push their regroup. So they're the two choices you've got after doing the box CC. So here's a few examples of the box CC in action. So the first one you can see is going in, it's a very small group, so this is the first few times we were trying it out. So we box them in with lines everywhere. You see rings go down, hammer rings after the initial spike, and they're just trapped in it. These guys didn't pop stability to get out, so they were trapped inside. This is a scrim of a GVG. See, we box, they pop stability to get out, so we follow up with a heavy spike. We roll out with a spike, obviously. We managed to get it down there. This is a blob fight again. We box them in. Some of them stop. They don't stay in the box. They pop stability to get out. So in about 5 seconds time, around now, the stability should be dropped off, and that's when we start getting downed, when we start catching people. Same again, same group. We box this time. We box deep. You'll see our guardian judge in, and we catch them on the secondary box, and again we get downed. So that's spike. That's box CC and how to use box CC to your advantage. Okay, so the other form of CC is just simply stopping the melee train coming at you. So you can call it, I call it block CC, or to counter their push. You can call it whatever you want, but in essence it stops the enemy train from running at you. So again, we'll just quickly show you in PvP what that means. Basically, you want to have a train track of lines of warden or any kind of CC as the melee train pushes towards you. You want also CC right in front of your melee ball, so by the time they reach you, their stability stacks should have stripped off. Okay, so the first push, again it's a scrim, so you can see the lines of warden just after the first push. So we try and strip them, and then we follow up with a follow-up spike on their regroup. So they push to us, we've stripped them of stability, they've gone back for a regroup, we spike it hard, and we get one downed on their regroup. So it's a lot more pushing regroups nowadays as well. And obviously we get a few more downed after that because they've got no stability. Again, remember, single target is the aim of the game nowadays. Again, we stop the push, we delay it by a bit. They go round the CC, their melee train, instead of pushing through it that time. So it delayed their push, enough time for our wells to be off cooldown, and then we push again on the regroup. Nowadays as well, it's important melee positioning. You want to try and stand just outside the AoE rings and just inside your AoE rings. Here we kill a group and a second server comes along and they push straight towards us. So again, we drop lines in front of us to strip them from stability. We roll out of their spike and we push on their regroup. So there's their regroup on the right hand side. We push it hard. They've just dropped all their stability, so they've got none left, and we just get easy catches there, easy damage. So that's block CC. It's in essence is to stop a melee push reaching you. The melee should be stripped of stability by the time they reach your group, by the time they reach your ball. You can kite backwards to give you that extra space, or you can accept their melee push and do a big self spike. You can even well spike on top of yourself. By the time they reach you, they should have no stability or very little stability left, enough for you to get a lot of damage on them, and then pull out of their spike and then go on their regroup, because you, as the secondary group, they've chosen to pop stability to reach you. You haven't popped stability yet. You're just standing there watching them come at you. By the time they reach you, you want to pop your stability, roll out of their spike, and then follow up on their regroup. So you have that advantage of being the doing the counter play, the block CC, the counter CC, counter the push. Okay, so that's the two uses of CC, and I would recommend using both those uses of CC. Okay, so we've talked about CC usage and how to stop pushes and control the enemy melee. So you need, and also casters as well. You can do a little bit of light CC on the casters to keep them in place for spikes and pulls and stop them from doing their job. So now we're going to talk about the caster's job. So the caster's job, like I said before earlier in the video, is now single target focus. Okay, so that means elementalists, necros, focus party members, thieves and mesmers, etc. Single target damage as much as possible. Okay, so things like life blast from the necromancers, maybe corrupt boons on the melee train, which is happening a lot. Elementalists go in DPS builds, forget water traits and things like that. You go bit more DPS to get that damage up. A lot of guilds are running lightning rod with their elementalists for that CC combination with damage. Single target immobilizers, dagger on necromancer is extremely powerful. Signet of Earth, I see a lot of guilds running Signet of Earth with their elementalists to get that high immobilize up. To if they push and they still have stability, you can still immobilize them with like daggers on the necromancers and Signet of Earth on the elementalists for that single target pressure. You have, like I said before, you have 4-man melee parties, so that leaves the necromancer out the melee. So what you do then, you combine all your necromancers together in a party, and they control T on an enemy an enemy member of the other group, and you just start life blasting, drop marks, single target damage, focus 5, strip boons, things like that. Single target damage is the name of the game. Same with the elementalist party. You control T on a member of the other group, you start single targeting. So what you would like to happen, you hope happens in these fights, is that the melee train single target someone, your caster, say elementalist party, single target someone, your necromancers single target someone, and your focus party, as always, is single targeting someone. So that's 4 people getting single targeted at any given time. At least one of those players should get downed every push, or every 30 seconds, or however long it's going to be. So the caster group is majority of the time single target. And how that plays out is you let your caster group go forwards and try and basically annoy the enemy group into a push onto your casters. You want your casters to be a little bit further in front of your melee train, just doing their single target damage, picking someone out and just start single targeting down. And the role then is for the melee is, like I said, that caretaker role, protect your casters. So if the enemy pushes your caster group because they're being maybe overextended, you then go in with your melee train to protect them. If they don't, if they leave your casters alone, that's going to be a down player, because you've got 5 life blasts going on into one player. That's going to be a down player no matter how tanky they are. Eventually they're going to go down. when that happens, you as melee train can go and clean up, like I say, the caretaker job, go and clean up that down player. You can bait the enemy group into walking into one of your well spikes if they go to manually res that player. If they go over to him and try to press F to res him up, you can then well spike on him, and they've just walked into your well spike. And then, like I say, you can then box CC them inside that well spike. There's a plethora of things. You just have to get that one down player, and that completely shifts the battle. At the same time, this is happening to you. You know, you're doing it to them, they are doing it to you. So you have to find out who's getting single targeted and put them at the back. Move to the if you're getting single targeted and you know that you're getting single targeted, you need to move to the back and get that cover behind the caster ball into the melee ball, hide inside the melee. So again, the 4-man melee party, that guy that's getting single targeted can run to your melee ball for protection. Get that healing, get those boon sharing going on regroups and things like that, and power spikes, things like that. You can get the healing, the might stacks, anything like that from just having 4-man melee parties. Okay, so pretty much talked about the setup of the group, how to use CC, what I see happening from other groups, other guilds, with the CC usage, the melee party, and their role, caretaker against old style, just leaping in to finish people off, and they cast the role of single target to get someone downed to then prevent the pirate ship. So that's what everyone wants. No one wants to play pirate ship. It's boring as fuck. So what you want to do is try and break down that pirate ship by killing someone, get someone downed, and that shifts it back into old style. If you get a down player, you can leap to them, spike on them, or box them in with box CC and well spike on top of them. So what we'll do now is we'll go over just a scrim that I had not that long ago, and we'll just go over that now. Okay, so this, we just kill I believe it's a Kodash group. Anyway, we kill a group, maybe Desolation, and obviously Axiom comes in up the hill behind us, as you can see. So we turn around, we clean up behind us at the gate, we start our fight. As you can see, I'm behind my caster ball now. See all my casters in front of me? They're doing their single target damage, so they're doing their role. Again, a couple of our casters overextend, get picked off, so he moves to the back. I go back to old style and aggressively push them, try and bait them into a spike. They have extremely long condition duration on their elementalists for super long chills. So you can see we get one down player from single target from our caster group, and we spike onto him. We pull out for regroup, and again see my casters in front of me, my necros in front of me, being aggressive. Again, the guy on the left is a bit overextended, same player as before. Try and get him up. So every time that melee ball tries to push to us, we block it with CC. Bait the push there by fake pushing. I pull out straight away, try and bait some AoEs, go round the AoEs, and now we go in again single target. We got a down player, so we range spike it, we finish him off. I push deep with the melee, go past the AoE spike, go deep. It's too much damage. You can see my party member goes down there, so we pull out for regroup. That was a nice damage spike from them. I was a bit over aggressive there. We get a nice regroup, everyone's up. It's as if nothing happened. Again, casters getting aggressive, get pulled in. One of our necros get pulled in there, but look at their melee, it's half health. We go in to finish the melee off, spike it hard, they pull out of it, and again they spike us. So again, it's a double spike. We spike, they spike. It's a DPS race. Again, look at that. Our caster ball got a single target necro down by single target. We spike him hard. Again, we're standing in double spike. They spike, we spike. We get the downed. More single target going on. Some of their melee get pulled off. I believe it's their guild, the raid leader, and obviously they start to scatter then. So fight's over. So you can see the single target from our casters being aggressive in front of me as the raid leader as melee ball. single target, get someone downed, and then we follow up with extra damage, or we pull off and push the regroups. Anything like that we can do. As you can see, it's outside bay. You see my casters run in front of me. There's their Ellie being aggressive for that offensive static, like always. There's our Ellie blinking ahead to get that offensive static. All my casters so far in front of me. I'm ready to protect them as a melee ball. I'm ready to run to my casters in front to protect them if they get pushed by anyone. One of our casters overextends once again, gets picked off. So again, push the caster ball on the right side. It's isolated from their melee ball. We get one down from single target focus. Too much damage from everyone all around. They get kills, we get kills. Everyone rallies. People rally. People don't rally. If you noticed whilst this is going on, any down that we get, any single target focus that we're doing, look at where their downed are. It's behind their melee protected. This is what I mean by if you know you're getting single target focus, then you need to pull somewhere where there's protection, which is usually behind the melee ball. So you can see that that's what they're doing. So we push their regroup, push deep, we get another downed at the back. I stay at the front of the melee with my melee ball. I don't want to go deep. Look at the AoE on the floor, I'm not pushing into that. I pull off, I let the casters on our far side there continue their single target damage whilst the melee regroups. Our casters are under completely no pressure at all. They're just free casting right now. This is slightly unfair to all Axiom because they didn't have their focus party on their focus party professions right now. They're all on necros right now. So that's why our casters are getting so much free casting off, because they're not under any pressure from any thieves or mesmers. So anyway, single target still going on. We're still getting down players one after the other. This is just showing you the power of single target during the fight. See, any guys we focus, they pull us back. So I leap back with the melee, I go deep, and I well spike the downed hard. They try to res them. They're going to go walking into our well spike. So obviously they pull off and they have to give up that player as a downed, as a finished guy. And it's around here where they GG. So just the sheer pressure. I mean, if you look now, you can clearly see that we outnumber them anyway. This scrim, this fight, the third fight, they switch professions to their focus parties. So this is a bit more even. But you can see the sheer power of the single target from every party is so much damage. So we pull, hit the caster ball. It's a huge target for us to hit. It's completely separated from their melee. So we catch a necro, we catch another necro at the far distance there. So we range that necro, we melee the other necro. We stop their melee push with CC. Right now their melee's done absolutely nothing because it's been boxed in with CC. They've not been able to reach us. So we hit the melee ball to try and get them to regroup. We go for regroup in the meantime. And again, look at the far right side, our casters single targeting their casters. So I try and stop their melee push by dropping damage, making them turn around, and I try and help our casters out with the caretaker role. So we drop CCs to block any pushes, and we allow the res behind us. Try and protect that res behind, that manual res. Push the melee ball, get them to turn around, try and catch who we can. We need to regroup soon. We get one player down, but he blinks into it. We can't push that group because we need to regroup. If we push into that, we might kill our own. Might kill ourselves by walking into a well spike of theirs. So again, their casters isolated on the right side, separated from their melee to try and push that caster group on the right. But their melee doing the caretaker role of protecting their own casters. So again, the battle shifts and we swap places. So we hit the melee now. We catch one warrior. If you look at the far left side, you can see all their casters starting to peel off left. So these guys on the left side of me now, up towards the pink tags, they're kind of isolated. Their melee balls behind me, their casters are in front of me, their focus party is in front of me. This is their poor positioning from their focus party. They're not paying attention of where the fight's happening. So I CC the melees to stop them from chasing us, and I push to their caster ball to try and kill them quick. That's easy kills for us. So we've got down players. I think, I'm not 100%, but I think this is where they GG, because I see it in the chat box. I'm not looking at my chat box. So it's around here when they GG. I think it's here, and then I push in for the final push, and they've GG'd now. And now I read it, so I pull off. So you can see all in all, taking everything together, You see the sheer power of single target damage, aggressive casters being in front of your melee ball, doing their single target. You as raid leader are ready to protect your casters by pushing in front and swapping places with your casters. You can box CC. You can block CC to stop a melee push. Make the melee useless by holding them back with CC. You can drop heavy CC on the melee and very light CC on the caster ball. The reason for this is players like professions like necromancers and elementalists have very little access to stability. They're either not running stability or they have very few stacks. Elementalists usually have blink or misform. They very rarely have armor of earth as well as those two. Necromancers generally don't have any stability at all, unless they take the trait 1 foot in the grave, and if they do that, they're sacrificing DPS, so no one does that. So, taking everything together, you've got your 4-man melee party for regroups, to anyone that's getting single targeted from the other group, from the enemy, can run to your regroups for quick heals, quick empower mites. You got the 2 ways of playing. I wouldn't recommend going heavy over into stability, where you're running like Hallowed Ground, Triple Guardians, anything like that. Going too much stability doesn't work because of Corrupt Boon, and the power of single target doesn't help extra stability. So I would recommend going the counter stability route, which is the use of CC more effectively. So box CC, block CC, things like that. The melee changed role to more of a caretaker role. So you look after your casters, you make sure they're okay, allow your casters a bit of freedom to go single target in front of you, and be ready to protect them from any melee push by block CC and self spike with wells, or leap deep if you're in the advantageous position. I would recommend doing a 50-50 split. So 50% of the time you protect your casters, and 50% of the time you be aggressive with your melee ball, like the old style of leap to them and do your damage. It really depends on the size of the group and how effective they use CC. If they're able to use block CC and box CC effectively, you won't be able to leap and play the old style. You'll have to play more of the let your casters do the single target, get the downed, and then follow up with the melee ball, rather than your melee ball getting the downed. It'll be your casters getting the downed through single target. So I hope this helps. This is how I would play and have been playing after a few tests since the stability change. Let me know how you think it goes. Let me know how it goes for you, and I'll see you next time.